Mick, disappointing considering you had momentum at half time and were leading disposals.
I don't know whether we had momentum, but we had a very good. We had a really good crack at them. What did we score? Okay. We led 4-3 to 4-2. However, our third quarter was a micro over the macro. That's been a constant, unfortunately, a constant. Last week, St Kilda kicked 5-5, and it really could have been 8-2. So, it's something we've got to address, and we've got to find out exactly how to stop it. And unfortunately, it does. As much as we are the club, it's simply got to be player-driven.
So when you talk about the micro and the macro, do you mean just the inconsistencies?
No, I'm saying that quarter was reflective of our year. Micro, macro.
Could you expand a bit about what you mean by when you say it needs to be driven by players?
Well, I think some of those things sometimes, if there's a stoppage or there's a kick in, or a passage of play, then players have got to take charge and see if they can arrest any momentum shift by the opposition.
So they know that that's what they have to do?
Sorry?
They know that that's what they have to do, but they're not doing it. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's what we've got to do.
So does that third quarter then take away everything from the first half, or do you obviously take some...
Oh, no, you've got to... life's not like that. You've got to look at that and say, well, OK, if that's our standard, we've got to try to maintain it. And if you can't maintain it, why can't we maintain it? So outside of the fact that they are a very, very good football side, I mean, throw Tippett in there, put Hanbury in there, put, a couple of these kids are getting 40 and 50 possessions in their seconds in there. So they're a very hard side to stop. And I thought that, blokes like, say, Michael Jamieson and Rowe did a terrific job, but they were helped because players up the field did pretty good jobs. And once that drops off, then the class of players around the football shows up. And if you put it in their vicinity often enough, and I haven't got the figures here for the third quarter in terms of penetrations, but I reckon it was probably I would say it was 17 or 18 to 7 or 8 at the most. And once you start putting it in their front 50, with the likes of Reid and Franklin and Parker, Goods, very hard to stop. So you've got to stop them further afield.
So you saw your comments during the week about the level of their list, and it's going to take something pretty special to stop them this year.
Oh, I think so. It doesn't guarantee victory, but I tell you what, it's going to go a long way to guarantee an opportunity to play in the grand final. Their length of their list is extraordinary. And I'm not too sure even, young Towers, he wouldn't have set the world on fire, but the simple fact that he's broken into that side is that there's another one. Brandon Jack comes on and has 5 possessions, and he'd be in the starting 18 with, several sides.
How long do you feel as if it will take for Carlton to build that sort of...
Oh, I can't. There's no, how long's a piece of string? I mean, we go first and second quarter like we did. We like what we see, but we don't like what we see in the third quarter. So that until I can't tell you how long, it could be the rest of this season. It could be part of next season, but at least it gives us a starting point.
What about Mick's team? At the moment, we know Jared Waite's playing VFL.
No, he's injured.
He's injured, so he's not playing tomorrow?
No, he's not playing tomorrow. He's injured.
Okay. What's wrong with him?
He's hurt his calf.
Okay. And Jeff Garlett is playing...
He's playing reserves, and when he plays the way we want, he'll come back into the side.
Okay. So is the mix that you've got out there tonight, the mix you're working with? I mean, it would seem that...
Oh, no, no one's on the outer. You can only play 22 players. So we work with the 44 players, believe it or not. We're not here for 22 players. We work with everyone. Like Sydney, they work with their whole group. Because the 23rd player doesn't play in the 22, doesn't mean anyone's on the outer. You only pick 22 players to win the game. So no one's on the outer.
Last question, guys.
5 and 11 accurate representation.
Yeah. It is. I'd like to think it would be better than that. We've had a couple of floggings. This is one of them. We've had starting at I'll go back and say probably Brisbane, and I'll stand corrected on this. It'll be Brisbane, Geelong. I think we played Hawthorn next, then Greater Western Sydney, and Collingwood, and last week Saints. But if you had a look at those games, you say a half ounce of luck, we could have won them. But you know that's a common thread with sides that are 5 and 11. That if that had taken place, could that have taken place? Had we won that? It's the thing is that you didn't win it, and that's the reality. And you've got to say, well, why did we win those games? We're in a position to win probably 4 of those, and we didn't. So that's the little thing from today, as I say, the micro from the macro, is that third quarter represented our year. That we have too many fade-offs or fade-outs, and we've got to make sure we find out exactly how we can arrest it with the play group, the 44 players, so that we don't have this happen next year. And if we can do something about it in the last 7 weeks, or 6 weeks, whatever's left, then we will be a better side for it. And the best thing is we've identified a lot of areas. Now we've got to work on it. We've got to work on players coming to the football club. We've got to work on these lapses. We've got to work on getting players to play, you know, consistently good football that they're not only proud of, but they can actually reproduce. If that makes sense.
Personnel or attitude?
Oh, there's nothing wrong with our attitude. I mean, you know, if it was an attitude thing, we'd be really worried. I mean, the boys have a crack. They're as mystified as what we all are, and saying, well, you know, how can it possibly happen that you can go in at half time and the room was full of not optimism that we're going to go out there and slaughter Sydney, optimism that what we did right in that first half is what we've got to duplicate. Now, for some reason, that falls off. So attitude, no. Methodology, yes. The greatness of the opposition, yep. But you know, we're on a par with 4 or 5 of those sides I mentioned, or 3 or 4 of those sides I've mentioned that beat us. And we're talking about, you know, sides between 4 and 6 wins, and we've got to find out why that takes place. Anyway.